What's up, iPad Nation? Welcome back to iPad Focus, where we break down all the essential Apple news you need. Today, we're kicking things off with a rumor that's absolutely electrifying. Is Apple finally bringing a touchscreen to the MacBook? We're talking about Ming-Chi Kuo's latest report suggesting that the upcoming OLED MacBook Pro, potentially hitting mass production by late 2026, could feature a touch panel, completely blurring the lines between your Mac and your iPad. And the buzz around Apple's hardware continues. This isn't just a fleeting thought. We're exploring how this potential touchscreen MacBook, possibly arriving with the M6 chip, could leverage on-cell touch technology. We'll break down what this means for user experience and whether it signals a future where your iPad and Mac operate even more in sync, especially after recent OS updates hinting at a more unified Apple ecosystem. But it's not all about future features. Security is paramount. Apple has just dropped critical updates, iOS 16.7.12 and iPadOS 16.7.12, to patch a dangerous zero-day vulnerability, CVE 2025-43300. This out-of-bounds write flaw in Image.io could have allowed attackers to execute arbitrary code, and Apple confirms it may have already been exploited in targeted attacks. We're detailing which older iPhone and iPad models are affected and why this update is a must-have, even for legacy devices. And we're diving deeper into that urgent security fix, uncovering how this Image.io vulnerability could have been used and the specific steps Apple has taken with improved bounds checking to protect your devices. Plus, we'll discuss the implications for enterprise administrators and the ongoing commitment Apple has to securing even its older hardware. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. Apple's iconic stance on MacBooks might be about to flip entirely. For years, Apple has drawn a firm line between its MacBooks and iPads, prioritizing the tablet experience for touch interactions. But a groundbreaking report from analyst Ming-Chi Kuo suggests this division is set to crumble. The upcoming OLED MacBook Pro, slated for mass production by late 2026, is rumored to incorporate a touch panel using on-cell touch technology. This means the 2027 MacBook Pro could be the first Mac ever to feature a touchscreen, significantly blurring the lines with the iPad. Kuo's report indicates this shift is driven by Apple's observation of iPad user behavior, recognizing that touch controls can indeed enhance productivity and user experience in specific scenarios. This move is particularly noteworthy given Apple's historical resistance to touchscreens on Macs, a philosophy even championed by Steve Jobs. Industry watchers like Bloomberg's Mark Gurman have also speculated about a future where iPads and Macs share more functionality, including touchscreens and even similar user interfaces. The tech community is already buzzing with speculation about how this will impact the market. Will a touchscreen MacBook cannibalize iPad sales, or will it create a new category of hybrid devices? The implications for creative professionals and everyday users alike are immense, potentially redefining the laptop and tablet paradigms. Don't go anywhere, because the future of Apple's ecosystem is unfolding before our eyes. And next, we're dissecting how this touchscreen revolution could change your workflow. Get ready for a Mac that finally touches back. While Apple has consistently denied the possibility of a touchscreen on its MacBooks, a new report from the highly respected analyst Ming-Chi Kuo suggests that era might be coming to an end. The much-anticipated OLED MacBook Pro, expected to launch in 2026, could be the first Mac to feature a touch display, utilizing on-cell touch technology. This development could arrive as early as next year, potentially powered by the M6 chip. This potential move aligns with Kuo's observation that touch controls can significantly boost productivity and user experience in certain situations, mirroring Apple's long-term study of how users interact with their iPads. Interestingly, the recent updates to iPadOS and macOS show stylistic similarities, hinting at Apple's exploration of a more unified device experience. It's worth noting that the rumored affordable MacBook model, also expected by the end of 2025, is not anticipated to include a touchscreen. This report has ignited widespread discussion, with many eager to see if Apple will indeed embrace touch input on its laptops. The implications for user interface design and the overall computing experience are substantial, potentially reshaping the competitive landscape. And that's not the only big Apple news we're covering today. Stick around as we reveal critical security updates affecting millions of older iPhones and iPads. Your older iPhone and iPad just got a critical security boost. Apple has just released iOS 16.7.12 and iPadOS 16.7.12, bringing essential security patches to older iPhone and iPad models that are no longer supported by the latest iOS 17. This update tackles a serious out-of-bounds write vulnerability within the Image.io component, identified as CVE 2025-43300. Apple's internal security testing and external reports suggest this flaw may have been actively exploited in targeted attacks, making this update a crucial download. The vulnerability specifically targets the way Image.io processes image files. A maliciously crafted image delivered through various channels like email or messaging apps could trigger this flaw, potentially leading to arbitrary code execution. This means an attacker could gain control of your device. The affected devices include the iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, iPhone X, iPad 5th generation, iPad Pro 9.7-inch, and the first-generation 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Apple's proactive approach, even for older devices, involves improved bounds checking within the Image.io framework to prevent memory corruption and safeguard against such exploits. This release underscores Apple's commitment to user safety, even for hardware that has reached its feature update lifecycle. Security professionals and administrators are advised to deploy these patches immediately to protect against sophisticated, targeted campaigns. Users of these older devices should ensure they are connected to Wi-Fi and navigate to Settings, General Software Update, to install the latest security build. But the story doesn't end there. We're going to break down exactly how this zero-day exploit works and what it means for your digital security moving forward. Urgent security alert. Apple patches a zero-day exploit hitting millions. Apple has rolled out critical security updates, iOS 16.7.12 and iPadOS 16.7.12, specifically for older iPhone and iPad models to combat a dangerous zero-day vulnerability. Released on September 15, 2025, these patches address CVE 2025-43300, an out-of-bounds write issue in the Image.io framework. Apple has confirmed that this vulnerability may have already been exploited in targeted attacks against specific individuals, highlighting the immediate need for users to update. The Image.io component is susceptible to memory corruption when processing specially crafted image files. Attackers could leverage this flaw, potentially through malicious images sent via email, web links, or messaging apps, to execute arbitrary code, even at the kernel level. This serious vulnerability affects devices such as the iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, iPhone X, iPad 5th generation, iPad Pro 9.7-inch, and the first-generation iPad Pro 12.9-inch. Apple has mitigated this risk by implementing improved bounds checking, which enhances the sanitization of image metadata and validates buffer lengths to prevent memory corruption. Given that these devices are no longer eligible for the latest iOS 17 updates, Apple's decision to backport this critical fix demonstrates a strong commitment to securing its legacy hardware. For enterprise administrators, deploying these updates via mobile device management (MDM) solutions is recommended. Users are urged to update their devices by going to Settings, General Software Update. And that's the latest on Apple's security front. But before you go, we've got a lightning round recap of all today's top stories. All right, Apple fans, that's a wrap on today's essential updates. We covered the massive rumor about Apple possibly bringing touchscreens to MacBooks, potentially blurring the lines with iPads. We also detailed the critical zero-day security vulnerability patched in older iPhones and iPads, ensuring your legacy devices stay protected. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an update. Follow us on all our social channels for more Apple insights. Let us know in the comments which story you're most excited about. Thanks for watching iPad Focus.